Hello there, this is Nile from Toolchefs and welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you new ways that you can use for randomizing the overrides of your agents that have been introduced in Atoms VFX 5.2. So just to recap what we could do with previous versions of Atoms, we could set like a global value here for any attribute, and for the attributes that have having this button here, we could open the override dialog and setting values per agent here, either manually or by providing a range like this. This of course has some limitations. For instance, in the case we wanted to randomize the states but not using the state with number 2, we couldn't do this. So we introduced like new ways for randomizing both the overrides but also the attribute at the module level. So let's first have a look at the changes to the override dialog. So we have included this new list mode, which will let you provide some values and then you'll be able to click randomize. So in this case, basically this basically fixes the problem. Sorry, I want to use 0, 1, and 3. This fixes the problem of randomizing the values and skipping like values like in case 2, in this case 2. So you see here we have 0, 1, and 3, and with the range mode before this wasn't possible. So this is the first thing that we have added. If you, for instance, close the override dialog and then you open it again, the list and the range will be to the default. So again, here we have an empty list, but you can go in here and click init random values. And so the list will be filled with all the values that have been used as overrides, while the range will have the minimum and maximum value using the minimum and maximum values of the overrides. Another thing that we have added is this option for filling the missing override. So for agents that don't have an override yet, you can use these fill override values, and this will actually use the range mode. So if you are looking to set the overrides by using the values that you already previously used without the range, what you should do is you should use the list, okay? Because again, with the fill override values we're using is basically the same as using the range here. So basically you don't have this kind of randomization. So if you want to do that, you actually need to use the list mode. So setting the overrides per agent, is cool. It gives you a lot of flexibility, but sometimes you just want to have like some quick results without having to open the override dialog each time and setting overrides. So what we have done here is we have created a new feature that will let you randomize the values at the module level. So for most of the attributes now you will see this button here that you can click. So the default is single value. So what this means is that we are using the value that we are providing here. You can also use the range. So let me actually draw the metadata. Yeah, okay, so we're already drawing the state here. If I now provide 0 and 2, Atoms basically randomizes the overrides, for the states of these agents by using this minimum and maximum value. So this basically as using the the range here, but the difference is that we don't bake the values inside the scene. So we don't have like an override per agent inside the scene, but this is actually done by automatically by Atoms. You can also change here the seed. So this will change the distribution of the randomization. And of course, this is completely deterministic. So if you open again your scene, you won't find a different distribution. It will always be the same. And as in the override dialog, you can also use a list. So if you don't have anything in your list, what we do is like we use the default value, so which is here in the single mode here. But if you use the list, we can say 0, 1, and 3. And these will actually, again, use the values that are provided in the list. And in case you want to skip, like for instance, a state like 2, you can do that in this way. Why is this useful? Is because, for instance, let's say we go in here in the grid layout and we add 10 agents, so we have now 20 agents. Before, whenever you were doing this, you had to reopen the override dialog and then setting new overrides. Now what happens is Atoms is setting them automatically, so you don't have to reopen the override dialog every time. What you can do though is still, if you want to override anything that Atom is doing for you, you can go in here and say, let's say for instance, I want to use, I want these agents to work. You can still do that. So the values that you set with the override dialog, so the overrides that are baked into the scene always take the priority. Okay, so just to give you a bit more information, so this new randomization is supported for Boolean, integers, doubles, vector 2, vector 3, vector 4, matrix, and strings. For matrix, you cannot use the list randomization, and for strings, of course, you cannot use the range because, of course, strings are not numbers, so you can just use the list. But again, if for instance, if you have if you want just to always use the same set of variations in your simulation, you can open the variation module and then provide the variation names with the list, and Atoms will always randomize the variations using the the values that you provided in the list. So you don't have to open the variation randomizer every time and then randomize your variations. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.